I pulled my daughter's family back from the edge, clearing $160,000 of debt for her, and even handed them my villa so they could restart their lives. 2 days later, they sold the place and fled the country, and my son-in-law sent a note. "You stink, you old loser!" They figured they'd slipped free of the fallout from what they'd done. What they didn't realize was that this villa carried a built-in snare that would make sure the bill came due. Before we go on, tap subscribe and drop a comment telling us where you're listening from. The envelope felt wrong the instant my fingers touched it. Tuesday evening, March 18th. I'd just pulled into my driveway after another long slog at Whitman Associates. My keys clinked while I fussed with the mailbox, flipping through the usual pile. Bills, flyers, a magazine. Then one envelope stuck out plain white, no return address. My name block printed across the front. The paper had weight to it, nicer than ordinary mail. I turned it over a couple of times, searching for anything that might give it away. Nothing. Just my name staring back in that unmistakable blue ink. In the kitchen, I set my briefcase down and slit the flap carefully. 3 words punched out from the center of the page, all caps. "You stink, old loser." My stomach went cold. The handwriting hit me like a blast of ice. Those heavy strokes, the Y tilting too hard to the right, that loop on the G. Josh. My son-in-law had written it. The paper fluttered onto the counter as my hands trembled. Why would Josh send something that vicious? We'd butted heads before, but this crossed a line I hadn't even imagined. A memory surfaced, whether I wanted it to or not. 3 weeks earlier, at Kate's place. Sunday dinner that spiraled into a battlefield when Josh demanded I co-sign yet another loan. Something about consolidating debt. Improving our credit, he'd said. I declined, firmly, politely telling him I couldn't keep feeding their bad habits. "You're being selfish, Mark," Josh had sneered, pointing his fork like a dagger. "You've got more money than you'll ever use. We're family." "Family doesn't mean unlimited access to my bank accounts," I'd replied, keeping my voice calm while heat crawled up my chest. Kate had stayed quiet, pushing food around while her husband berated me. When Josh stormed out and slammed the door hard enough to rattle the windows, she muttered something about him being under pressure. No apology. No recognition that what he'd done was out of line. And now, this note laid bare what he really thought. I grabbed my phone and called Kate. Straight to voicemail. Her chirpy recorded greeting felt like an insult now. "Hi, you've reached Kate. Leave a message and I'll get back to you soon." I tried Josh next. Worse. "The number you have dialed is no longer in service." Panic climbed my throat. I dialed their landline. Disconnected. My fingers moved on their own to Kate's workplace. Maybe she'd taken extra shifts. The receptionist was kind, but firm. Katie Allen Miller. She resigned about 3 weeks ago. No forwarding number. "I'm sorry, no. 3 weeks. Right after our blow-up." I called Sarah Kate's best friend from college. She picked up on the second ring, sounding preoccupied. "Mr. Allen, everything okay?" "I'm trying to reach Kate. Have you heard from her?" A beat. "Not for weeks." I thought she was dodging me. We had coffee plans last Tuesday. She never showed and never called. The walls seemed to press in. I tried Josh's brother, Ben, hoping for any thread. "Mark, thank God," Ben said, a rush of relief in his voice. "I've been trying to find Josh for 2 weeks. He borrowed $500 last month and promised he'd square up. Both their phones are dead." I set the letter on the table and stared at it. The blue ink looked like it was laughing at me, the words burning deeper every second. Where were they? Why cut ties after sending something so cruel? The clock blinked 11:30 p.m. by the time I admitted sleep wasn't happening. I brewed coffee and pulled photo albums from the shelf. searching for clues and clinging to better days. Kate as a gap-toothed kid, grinning at a birthday cake. Kate and Josh's wedding me walking her down the aisle because her mother couldn't be there. Had I missed signs, been too trusting, too generous? At 2:17 a.m., I was still at the table. The note lay there like evidence, each reread slicing a little deeper. This wasn't just mean, it was engineered to wound. But why? What had I done to earn that kind of hate from my son-in-law? And why was Kate letting it happen? The hallway clock chimed 3 times, then 4. I watched my phone crawl forward to 4:30, 4:45, after 5. At 5:47 a.m., I gave up on sleep. A decision crystallized, sharp and cold, as frost on a glass. I knew what I had to do. I'd drive to their house in Brookside. If they wouldn't pick up, they could look me in the eye. Whatever this was, whatever had pushed them to this, I deserved answers. I grabbed my keys and headed out. Morning air bit my cheeks as I backed out, the letter still seared into memory like a brand. Dawn spread across the windshield as I took the winding roads to Brookside. The coffee in my cup holder had gone cold, forgotten beside the crumpled note burning in my pocket. 45 minutes gave me too much time to hope. Maybe their phones died. Maybe they overslept. Maybe there was a boring explanation. The villa was in Willow Creek Estates, the kind of enclave where houses cost more than most folks make in 5 years, where I thought my daughter would be safe. When I pulled into the driveway, my stomach lurched. No cars, no lights. Newspapers were strewn across the steps like abandoned promises. I walked to the door on unsteady legs. The spare key behind the ceramic planter, gone. Through the front window, I could see furniture draped in white sheets, ghosts of the life I'd helped them build. Then I saw it. A red and white sign stabbed into the lawn, like a knife. Sold. My knees went soft. I grabbed the railing to stay upright, staring at that impossible word. It had to be wrong. I checked the address twice, 3 times. Same house, same driveway where Kate had practiced riding a bike one summer. "Mr. Allen, are you all right, dear?" Mrs. Baker stepped out from next door, silver hair bright in the morning sun. She'd been there 15 years, always waved when I visited, always asked about Kate's latest job or Josh's newest plan. I'm looking for Kate and Josh," I managed, my voice unfamiliar. Her brow folded. "Oh my, they didn't tell you. They moved out last weekend. Quite a scramble." The movers came Saturday morning. The world tilted. "Moved out?" "Kate was crying hard," Mrs. Baker said, clutching her cardigan tighter. "Josh was snappish with the movers. They said they were heading to Europe for a fresh start. Sweet young couple, but something seemed off." My hands shook. "Did they mention me?" She hesitated. Josh said something like, "Family business settled." She trailed off as she read my face. Settled. Like I was an account to close. "Do you know where they went?" "Toward the airport. Josh was rude when I offered help. Said they were racing to make a flight." I thanked her and stumbled back to the car, dialing the number on the sold sign. "Summit Realty," a crisp voice answered. "Allen Property, cash sale. Listed Friday, closed Monday. Oddly fast." "What was the price?" $340,000. Investment firm. Full ask. $340,000, the exact figure I'd given them as the down payment 3 years earlier. They'd sold the home I'd put in their hands and vanished with every penny. Next, I called Josh's parents in Phoenix. Carol Miller picked up on the first ring, hope springing into her voice when she heard me. "Mark, thank heavens, we've been trying to reach Josh for weeks. He borrowed 2 salons last month, said it was temporary while they fixed some paperwork." "They're gone, Carol. They sold the house and took off for Europe." The silence was a wound. When she spoke again, it was a whisper. He didn't even say goodbye. My own son. We'd both been played by people we loved. I sat in my car, outside the empty villa for an hour, watching sun creep up over the manicured lawns. Pieces clicked into place with a sick thud. The quick sale. The nasty letter designed to rattle me. The sprinting timeline to prevent a block. This wasn't panic. It was planned. The soft-hearted father was gone. Sitting in his place was someone colder, more precise. The man who remembered every clause he'd ever drafted. The man who knew actions bring consequences and debts come due. I started the car with purpose. The 45 minutes home felt different. I had work to do. Numbers flickered in my head as I drove. 340,000, the same amount I'd put up for the villa. Back in my study, I pulled open the filing cabinet Kate used to rib me about. Dad's treasure chest. 4 drawers of neat records spanning decades. If they wanted numbers games, I'd show them real accounting. I spread legal pads across the desk and logged into my bank. The hurt still burned under my ribs, but something cooler took over. I needed to tally the real cost of their betrayal. Laura's funeral came up first 3 years back, when Kate collapsed and couldn't function for months. Grief swallowed her. Work became impossible. Josh claimed he was supporting her while barely hanging on to his job. That's when the pattern formed. First crisis, Kate's rent and groceries for 3 months, $2,400. 6 months later, Josh lost his job. The economy, he said, with a shrug like unemployment was weather. I covered their mortgage and car for 2 months. $8,000. Then Kate's appendectomy high deductibles. We can't let her suffer over money, Josh said, never mentioning he'd blown the emergency fund on crypto. Medical bills. $12,000. My pen moved, each line a memory. Josh's business opportunity. A multi-level thing requiring a big buy-in. When it crashed, I absorbed the hit to keep them out of court on $15,000. Then credit card consolidation, crushing balances from just getting by. We never learned to budget, Josh said. Another $18,000 to clear the deck. Years 4 through 6 accelerated. Job loss number 2 for Josh, laid off. Though Kate later admitted he was late a lot. Mortgage crisis number 2 to 22,000. Kate's car hit by an uninsured driver, $9,000. Josh's certification course, it'll guarantee a better job, $5,000. Holiday emergencies, family crises, always something, $8,000 in little fires. By year 7, the asks grew shameless. Josh's 3rd job loss meant long unemployment. The market's brutal at our age, he said. He was 32, 6 months of support, $25,000. When they lost their apartment, I covered temporary housing, $14,000. The little stuff never stopped, $200 for utilities, $800 for repairs, $1,500 for medical, another $7,600 oozing out. My calculator showed the running total. $160,000 over 8 years, showed $20,000 a year more than some families live on. But the villa was a different category. 2 weeks earlier, at this same desk, I'd watched Josh's face when he demanded I co-sign again. Kate had been crying, saying they were really struggling, but something in Josh's eyes looked calculating, not desperate. Take the villa instead, I said at last. Kate's face lit with genuine shock. Josh's face switched to appraisal square footage, comps, market value. I should have recognized that look. We'll need clean paperwork, I insisted. Diane Cooper drafted the conditional gift agreement with her usual precision. Standard protections, she called it. If the property was sold within 5 years, the recipients must return fair market value to the donor. Kate signed without a second glance, trusting me completely. Josh skimmed and shrugged. Sure, whatever. We're not selling anyway. He was already planning the opposite. Now, with their signatures in front of me, everything fell into focus. Villa. $340,000. 8 years. of emergencies, 160,000. Total sacrifice, 500,000, 500,000. More than 9 years of pension. Money Laura and I should have used to travel, fix the house, secure the retirement she wanted for me. And their repayment? 3 words dripping with contempt. The conditional clause stared back from the page, impossible to miss. Kate's and Josh's signatures no longer looked like gratitude. They looked like evidence. The wall clock read 5:30 p.m. Almost a full day since I'd found the note. Tomorrow already felt different, charged with purpose. I stacked the papers carefully, each page a tool I hadn't realized I held. Tomorrow I'd start making calls. Time for consequences. I didn't sleep that night, I planned. Thursday morning, I sat at the desk again, but the energy had shifted. The gift agreement lay open beside a fresh legal pad. For the first time in 3 days, I felt in control. I treated it like a complex financial project. Systematic, methodical, clear goals, measurable outcomes. The emotional father stepped aside. The strategist took over. 23 days remained on the legal deadline. Time to move. At 9 sharp, I called Diane Cooper's office. Her assistant put me through. "Diane, it's Mark Allen. I need to discuss the gift agreement for Kate and Josh." A pause. Then her voice softened with understanding. "Oh, Mark, I wondered when you'd call. They sold, didn't they? Ran to Europe with the proceeds." "The conditional clause is solid," Diane said without hesitation. "Sale triggers automatic repayment full market value, 340,000 due within 30 days of closing. I can freeze assets, garnish accounts, and push collection through EU channels." A spark of satisfaction finally glowed. "How enforceable overseas?" "Very. I have contacts in Brussels, Paris, and Madrid. EU courts respect properly executed US contracts, especially with indications of fraud." "Fraud?" Her tone sharpened. "Did they hint at selling when they signed?" Josh brushed off the condition too, quickly. "Intent to defraud strengthens our hand," she said, papers rustling. "I can send a demand notice today and have European colleagues spin up enforcement." "Hold for now," I said. "Prepare everything. I may need to move fast, but I want to try this my way first." "Of course," Diane chuckled, the same laugh she used when facing tough opposing counsel. "You were always thorough. We'll have the documents ready within the hour." Next call. Ron Harris at Lone Star Bank, an old colleague who understood international banking compliance. "That's serious territory, Mark," he said after I laid it out. "Legal matter involving a conditional gift violation," I said. "I need discrete monitoring of transactions tied to 2 individuals. I can flag large transfers, anything over 10,000. Unusual patterns trigger alerts," Ron said. "Professional courtesy." "Exactly. I sent names and any account details I had." "I'll build the monitoring net by end of day," he promised. Then I turned to digital recon. Kate's Facebook showed public posts from Brussels fine dining, luxe hotels, designer shopping. Josh's LinkedIn boasted about their new European life, geotags in high-end spots on Avenue Louise. They were documenting their own trail. Every post, every photo, every tag strengthened the case. Those meals and rooms paid with money that legally needed to come back to me. I took methodical screenshots, dates, locations, rough costs. At their burn rate, they'd torch the proceeds in 6 months. Desperation makes people sloppy. Sloppy people make mistakes. I set up wide net alerts for their names, social posts, public mentions, anything. I'd know their moves before they did. The map was clear. Strange city, fast spending, loud digital footprints. I had home turf, 3 decades of contacts, and the law. Different pressure points for different people. Kate responded to guilt, always terrified of letting family down. Josh ran on fear and self-interest. I'd start with Kate. She'd crack first. The pieces aligned with textbook precision. Legal groundwork, solid. Financial monitoring, active. Intelligence, ongoing. Timeline, 23 days and counting. I marked the calendar pressure dates, escalation points, final deadline. They thought betrayal could be a clean break. Tomorrow I'd start their education in accountability. Everything was in place. Tomorrow I'd remind them what family really means. I slept better that night than I had in days. Friday morning I sat at my desk with the paperwork stacked in neat order, contacts highlighted, dates circled. 22 days left. Time to trigger consequences. At 9, I called Diane. "File the demand today," I said. "Everything by the book." "Consider it done," she said crisply. "They'll receive official notice by certified international delivery Monday morning. Full market value, $340,000 due within 22 days, or we proceed to seizure and collection. Next, Ron." "Time to switch on the monitoring," I said. "Based on the filing, I can tighten thresholds," he replied. "Any international transfer over 5,000 pings us. I'm already seeing heavy activity in Brussels Hotel. Luxury retail. They've burned more than 40,000 in a week. Can you place discretionary holds pending resolution?" "Already done. Let them wonder why cards are declining." By 10:30, Diane's team had the formal demand translated and queued for international delivery. The language cut clean. Fail to comply in 22 days, and our EU partners start seizing assets. Every step documented, every protocol followed. I spent the afternoon watching their social feeds in real time. Kate's stories showed a Michelin dinner, easily 300 for two. Josh's LinkedIn bragged about embracing the lifestyle, tagged at high-end boutiques. They kept building my exhibit list. At a burn of 2,000 to 3,000 daily, half the money vanishes in 3 months. Desperation would make them pliable. At 1:47 p.m., my phone lit up. International number Kate. I let it roll to voicemail. Her message came seconds later, voice shaky, under a thin layer of casual. "Dad, hey, we're having weird banking trouble here. Cards aren't working right. Could you call me back? Nothing urgent, it's just odd." The panic beneath the varnish was unmistakable. The first crack arrived right on schedule. Under pressure, Kate always reached for family help. I didn't call back. Silence was leverage. Let them stew all weekend. Monday's delivery would do the explaining. Negotiation 101, establish leverage, control information, manage timing. They'd taught me betrayal. I'd teach them consequences. The trap was closing. Patience beats impulse. I poured a glass of wine and waited. Monday would bring clarity. I spent a calm weekend knowing their cards were failing all over Brussels. Monday morning, my phone rang. Kate again, right on time. She was never an early riser. If she was calling now, she was scared. I let it ring 3 times. "Hello, Kate. Hi, Dad. How are you?" Forced cheer that fooled no one. "We're having an amazing time. Brussels is gorgeous. The museums, the buildings." She was stalling. I said nothing. "Actually," her voice wobbled. "We're having some weird banking issues. Our cards just stopped Friday. The bank says there's a hold. We're stuck at a pricey hotel and can't pay." "Banking gets complicated," I said evenly. Probably some European regulation," she rushed on. "Could you wire us something short-term? Maybe 5,000? Just until we sort it out?" "That's not a small ask, Kate." I let the silence stretch. The hold isn't a mistake. "What? Dad, what are you talking about?" "It's about the villa you sold. The conditional gift you signed. Remember?" Confusion bled into panic. What does that have to do with anything? Selling triggered the clause, 340,000 is due back, Kate. 21 days. 10 seconds of dead air. Then, this is crazy. We can't. This was all Josh's idea. I never wanted to sell. He said Europe would be a fresh start. You know how persuasive he is. You both signed. We don't have that kind of money anymore. Her voice edged toward hysteria. We've been living off it. Brussels is expensive, and we thought, 50,000 in 10 days, I said. Your social posts make that obvious. You've been watching us? Genuine shock. Let me put Josh on. Rustling. Low arguing. Then Josh, trying for swagger and landing on strain. Mark, this is ridiculous. You can't freeze our accounts because I can. I did. Listen, old man, we'll pay you back eventually, but the timeline is impossible. You're being vindictive. I'm being lawful and exact. 21 days or we begin seizure. My European partners are ready. You're actually serious? His bravado cracked. What if we give you half now, half later? Full amount? 21 days. This is insane. We're family. Family doesn't send anonymous hate mail. Kate grabbed the phone back, crying now. Daddy, please, I know I messed up, but I need your help. Mom would... Your mother would be ashamed of this. What do we do? We have nothing. We'll be stranded. You should have thought of that before selling. The line clicked dead. 21 days became their countdown. Their fear told me everything. Back at the computer, I opened Kate's Instagram. A new story from 2 hours earlier showed the ornate lobby of Hotel Metropole off the Grand Place. Crying emojis. Worst day ever. Brussels. Fitting down the street from EU institutions. Josh's LinkedIn. Handling family drama. Staying strong. Facebook, premium BMW rental, pricey restaurants. Even in crisis, they were burning money. Time to tighten the screws. At 3:00 p.m., Dallas time, 9:00 p.m. in Brussels they called De Smet Partners. Diane had given me the contact for exactly this. This is Mark Allen. Diane Cooper referred me, International Collection. Mr. Allen, a Belgian accent answered smoothly. We've reviewed your documents. Your conditional gift supports an EAPO filing. How fast? We'll file tomorrow morning. EU accounts can be frozen within 24 hours. Enforcement timeline? By Wednesday morning, their European assets will be inaccessible. We handle 200 such cases annually. We know where to press. Next call, Ron. Escalate surveillance, late. Real time on every attempt. They've tried 3 cards today. All declined, he said. ATM denials at 4 locations. They're down to small purchases, €50, €100. Counting coins. How long before they hit a wall? Hotel is €400 a night. BMW rental, restaurants, incidentals. Call it 600 a day. 30 days to bankruptcy at their pace. The Belgian team confirmed receipt of everything by secure transfer gift agreement, sale documents, demand notices, call logs, screenshots. Textbook, the Brussels lawyer said, will coordinate with Ms. Cooper and your bank. By Wednesday, they'll learn EU banking isn't a hiding place. I cross-checked their posts with hotel sites and rental agencies. Kate's tags pinned them at the Metropole, walking distance to the law district where tomorrow's filing would occur. Josh's BMW 3 Series had premium insurance, another €120 daily. Their location wasn't an accident. Brussels meant they were steps from the very institutions that would lock them out. By 6:00 p.m., the triangle was tight. Diane in Dallas, De Smet in Brussels, Ron on the networks. Tuesday would bring EAPO filing. Wednesday would clamp their accounts. Thursday would explode into hotel panic with cards flatly rejected. Strategy beats satisfaction. Let them sleep one more night under a dark cloud. Tuesday morning in Brussels, their assumptions would crack. The Belgian system moved exactly as promised. My phone buzzed with angry messages from a 32 number, all caps. You're destroying your own family. Right on cue. Josh's rage spilled into a barrage. This is too far. Then the pivot. We're family. Then threats. I have lawyers. We'll fight. Finally, desperation. You'll regret this when everyone sees what kind of father you are. I read each text like a case study. Classic desperation. Predictable moves. Time to hand it to Diane. At 9, a call came in. Brussels area code. This is attorney Arnaud Leroy, representing Josh Miller. We're challenging the agreement as unconscionable and the product of undue influence. Please direct all communication to my counsel, Diane Cooper, I said calmly, giving her details. Diane called me right back. Expected. I drafted that agreement to withstand this. Every clause triple-checked. Everything documented. How solid? Rock solid. Kate had a full review period. We offered independent counsel. She declined. The signing was recorded. Their challenge won't survive EU scrutiny. By 10:30, Diane was synced with Desmet. The Belgian opinion was blunt. No merit under Belgian law. Motion to dismiss within 24 hours. Meanwhile, Josh started a social media PR push. Facebook, when family turns on family a warning. Instagram, stranded abroad by a vindictive relative. LinkedIn, on family and business ethics. Diane's social specialist archived everything. Let him talk. He was digging his own hole. Comments were already turning. Wait, you sold his house? Why not pay him back? Then Josh called. You don't know who you're messing with, he hissed. I know people. I recorded, per Diane's advice, empty threats from an empty wallet. Kate came on, tearful but sharp. We'll tell everyone how cruel you are. Pay our bill, or we'll be out on the street. Diane filed for sanctions. Harassment penalties, she explained. 10,000 per violation. Due to misconduct, we reduced their deadline to 15 days. A complaint went to the Belgian bar about their client's conduct around counsel. Every swing they took bruised only themselves. By evening, their challenge was dismissed and sanctions approved. 15 days left. Midnight in Brussels. My phone flashed a video call. Kate. This wasn't casual. This was the last card. I answered, expression steady. Kate appeared in a cramped, shabby room. Real tears, this time. Not performed. Behind her, Josh paced like a trapped animal. Dad, please just hear me. I'm listening. We're living like refugees, she sobbed. The room smells. The heat doesn't work. We're eating gas station sandwiches and walking everywhere. I'm getting sick. I can't sleep. I can't keep food down. What if something happens? We don't know anyone. We don't speak the language. Classic victim framing. I kept quiet. Remember when I was little and scared? You always chased the monsters away. You said nothing bad would happen to me. Her voice slipped back into childhood. Mom would be heartbroken. She always said family first. What would she think of this? There it was, the mother card. I'd prepared for it. Just enough to get home, she bargained, cutting the ask. Not the full amount, just travel money. We'll pay back everything. A few months, please. I'll leave Josh if that's what you want, she added wildly. You never liked him. I'll come home alone. Start over. She threw him under the bus. I don't know what I'll do if you abandon me, she whispered, skirting a darker edge. I can't carry this. It's destroying me. Josh barked from off-screen. Tell him we'll be homeless. He moved into frame. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. She needs her dad. Kate broke. Don't you love me? I'll do anything. I drew in a breath and found the steel I'd built. Kate, I love you, but love isn't enabling. You made adult choices. This is the result. Your mother believed in responsibility and honesty. She wouldn't abide manipulation. She would back this lesson. Real love means letting you face consequences. 15 days to make it right. I'll help when you've learned the lesson. Josh lunged into view. Enough! Your daughter's suffering because of your pride. If she gets hurt, it's on you. My conscience is clear, I said. I love you, Kate, but the terms don't change. Her face crumpled. Something crashed behind her. 15 days. I ended the call. The silence afterward felt final. 6 months later, my Sunday routine included scanning statements that told a new story. 5,000 monthly payments on the dot since March. No excuses. No drama. Just steady responsibility from two people who were finally learning. The phone rang at 2:00 p.m. Kate, but her tone held none of the old tactics. Dad, could we talk? Josh and I have something to say. Can we come by this afternoon? No panic, no spin. Just a respectful ask. 4 o'clock. I'll make coffee. They arrived on time. The differences hit me first. Kate wore work clothes, practical slacks, comfortable shoes, the look of someone on her feet all day. Josh's hands were nicked and calloused, his shoulders thicker from labor. Dad, I need to say what I should have said long ago, Kate began, steady and adult. I've been spoiled, entitled, ungrateful. You gave me everything and I threw it away. Work taught me what money is, the hours, the effort, the sacrifice. Josh stepped up, arrogance gone. Mr. Allen, I owe you more than money. I was disrespectful and wrong. That anonymous letter was cruel and cowardly. You stood on principle. I acted like a child. We want to earn back your trust, Kate said. Whatever rules you set, whatever timeline, you set the standard. We want to be family you can respect. I studied their faces. No performance, no angles. Just two people who'd been through the fire and changed. Laura believed in second chances after growth. 6 months of consistency, I said at last. Lesson taught, lesson received. Now comes mercy. Hope flickered in their eyes. I'm reducing the balance to 200,000, 3 years instead of 4. Kate cried openly. Thank you for not giving up on me. Josh's voice broke. I'll spend years earning your respect. Love teaches consequences and then offers grace when the lesson sticks. We set new traditions, weekly calls, holiday invites earned by consistency, honest updates about real life. Payments continued, but our relationship rebuilt on actions, not transactions. A year later, Thanksgiving 2026, they sat at my table with Aunt Susan and the rest. Kate had been promoted to supervisor. Josh was a foreman. They'd paid 140,000 shekels, 60,000 to go. While we prepped dinner, Josh slipped over. Thank you for making me a better man. Thank you for becoming one, I said. Justice taught the lesson. Mercy healed the bond. Sometimes love means letting people hit bottom, then celebrating when they climb. Friday morning brought the white flag. Email subject, formal apology and settlement request. From Josh Miller, timestamp 2:30 a.m., Brussels time. The surrender had taken all night to write. Mr. Allen, it began, I sincerely apologize for my behavior. You were right to include the conditional clause. We have learned costly lessons about consequences. It kept going, unflinching. Hotel management is threatening police. We have about €200 left. We can't afford flights home. Kate needs medication we cannot purchase. Then the ask, we respectfully request settlement discussions. We understand the 14 days remain. We are willing to accept reasonable terms. We hope to resolve with minimal escalation. I called him immediately. I received your email, I said. He sounded emptied out. Thank you for calling, Mr. Allen. Can we discuss terms? I was wrong about everything, he said, without prompting. This is our fault. You handled it professionally. I should have appreciated your help. The leverage had shifted completely. Full amount plus sanctions. $360,000, I said. Sanctions bumped the total. His shock was real. Consequences for harassment and obstruction, I added. Understood. What options exist? We talked about their BMW rental, roughly $48,000 at current rates. Liquidate immediately, I said. Send all paperwork. Wire within 48 hours. Diane will confirm receipt. And the balance, $312,000 after the car. I paused. Transfer $2,000 now for the hotel. Another $500 for Kate's medication. You do that? He asked, genuine. Mercy from strength, I said. From here on, all communication goes through Diane. No public talk about the settlement. Professional conduct only. Any violation is a $10,000 penalty. Understood completely. Weekly status reports. Full transparency, whatever you require. We stayed on for 2 hours. By the end, the transformation was complete. From bluster to respect. Kate stayed quiet. The fight gone. We'll contact the dealer now, Josh said. Docs in 6 hours. Good. The hotel and medication transfer will go through today. Thank you for the lesson and the mercy, he said. I hung up satisfied. Real consequences. Real change. Real money queued for Sunday. A week later, my phone buzzed while I reviewed statements. The BMW transfer hit $48,000 exact. The call was Aunt Susan. Mark, I'm worried about Kate, she said. She called crying, said, You're being unreasonable about a house issue. Linda would want you to help her daughter. They were playing the family card elsewhere. What exactly did Kate say? I asked. Just that they're struggling and need family support. Did she mention selling the villa I gave her without telling me? I said quietly. Or the hate letter calling me an old loser before they ran off with $340,000. Silence. Then. I had no idea. $500,000 over 8 years, Susan. Real help sometimes means letting people face outcomes. Kate learned to manipulate because we always rescued her. You're right, she said softly. I'm sorry I called. No apology needed. You were being a caring aunt. An hour later, Kate called. Dad, we're different now. Josh is job hunting. I'm applying everywhere. We just need time. I'd already checked. 12 fast food applications isn't a plan, I said. I never realized how hard this is. I don't have practical skills. Josh's degree doesn't mean much when you're up against younger candidates. We're living simply, she rushed on. Tiny place, cooking at home, no luxuries. Josh sold his watch. I sold jewelry. That might cover a month's rent, I said. But the $307,000 still owed? Her voice cracked. 5 years of payments, we'll pay interest. Terms stand, I said. 7 days. Wednesday brought another wire, $5,000 from Kate. Real money. Josh's construction wages plus the jewelry sale. Progress recognized. $53,000 paid. $307,000 left. Kate called. Voice worn thin. That's everything we have. I worked 60 hours last week. Josh makes $15 an hour when there's work. Maybe $4,800 in a good month. The math was brutal. 5 years at their current pace. They finally understood. Thursday, Kate tried the last lever. Josh's grandmother wants to help, she said. She'll use her retirement. Absolutely not, I said. This is your debt, not an 89-year-old's. I won't allow you to exploit her. Focus on earning. 6 days remain. 6 days to find $307,000. Consequences don't blink. If you enjoyed this story, give it a like, hit subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. To hear the next story, click the box on the left. Thanks for listening.